it? Can you dig it?
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room, inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're being shown things that never actually happened. Faces that don't exist. People who were never there. Events that look real, but were assembled frame by frame for you to react to. And it's not fringe anymore. It's politicians, it's influencers, it's governments, all feeding the same stream, knowing most people won't stop long enough to question it. And when something breaks, when the illusion slips, they don't even correct it. They just replace it, right? Another version, another narrative, another layer, until the truth isn't hidden. It's just irrelevant, because now it's not about what's real. It's about what spreads, what trends, what people feel or hope is real. And somewhere inside that loop, the baseline that we used to rely on is pretty much gone. And this show, The Boiler Room, was built around that baseline, that shaky gray area, that turbulent air. Meanwhile, the people building these systems, they're not hiding it. They're publishing manifestos. They're talking about collapse. They're mapping out the future in plain sight. And the rest of us, we're left trying to figure out what's real and what was designed to look real. So tonight on Boiler Room, if you're with us every week, you've probably noticed a little bit of a shift here in, or maybe a little spinal tap crank of the knob to my skepticism as it pertains to looking at headlines and such. Well, this is a big part of why. So we're not just going to be looking at headlines. We're going to be looking at what happens when the system starts to fracture. And just for these little moments when the simulation bleeds through. I'm Bryan McClain. This is the Boiler Room. My call sign's Hesher. We're broadcasting live out of Central Texas this 24th of April, 2026. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Good to see everybody out there in the live chat on YouTube, on Rumble, on X. Not as many of you on X, so if you're on X, drop us a note, say hi in that chat. And of course, over on our Discord, great to see our regulars over there in the Discord. Let me go ahead and bring Mystical Pharaoh to the stage here. Mystical Pharaoh, what's up, buddy? Welcome back to the Boiler Room. How you doing?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm fantastic, man. I mean, everything I watch in the media is very doom pill, but hey, I'm still doing great, man.
That's good. That's why I stopped watching media.
Yeah. Yep. Ironic that we're in it, but hey, it is what it is.
I mean, when it's all propaganda, right? It's then it's wasteless. However, I just browse, right, and I read what everybody's saying, and I try to make up my own media, I guess.
Yep. That's how to do it, man. You're moving around with a lot more agility at this point. If one can admit to oneself that, hey, almost everything we see, we can't verify anymore. And we've got verified liars and assholes all around us.
I mean, literally. I mean, we were actually publishing AI videos in this recent conflicts, right? And
Amazing.
nobody knew it was AI or not, right? And
Yep.
so I would just be skeptical about everything right now, as you were saying earlier. I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, find your trusted sources and keep an eye on them. It's all you can
Even
do
your
at this
trusted
point.
sources, man, like unless you're really on the ground, how else are you gonna verify?
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I mean by your trusted sources. Though there are a number of them out there on the ground, but they are hard to find, and anything they say gets amplified by all these other or attacked by all these other accounts if it even makes the stream.
Yeah, I mean, do you even know what is the state of Strait of Hormuz right now? Was it ever opened? Do we even know, right? Do we
Well,
know if there is a blockade or not?
I've never traversed it personally.
Exactly. Do we? Does anybody know? Everybody's just saying shit. Nobody can verify. And who will say the biggest shit was the loudest voice? I think that's what our current president believe. But I think people are seeing through that.
Yeah. The support is dwindling, hemorrhaging, actually. Hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna try to bring Ruckus aboard here. We got a Ruckus among us. Pull him onto the stage here. Ruckus, where oh, there he is. That's where he is. What's up, man?
Howdy. Yo. Yes, that's me, Ruckus. I'm here. Oh boy. Here again. We're doing this again. Here
we go again, man. Feels like we just
man.
did this, doesn't it?
Yep. And I was looking at the news and I'm like, hold on a second. Didn't this already happen? Wait a minute. Wasn't this from last year? Hold on a second. Didn't we talk about this? What's going on here? That's the same thing. So yeah, I'm just, what's going on? I guess the only difference is, I don't know. I can't find one for me. We'll try our hardest tonight, ladies and germs, boys and squirrels, to find something new for you. There might be a few gems hiding in there, and I might have one hiding in my pockets somewhere. Am I wearing pockets? Yeah, I got pockets. Yep. Regardless, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to doing the thing.
Yeah, me too, man. As I was setting up the links and looking at the links tonight, I was just going, man, I already remember this. Ruckus is going to kill me for putting this one in there because we already did this 2 years ago. But
It's
I
not
guess
your fault. It's the news cycle.
Yeah, I
It's
guess,
just we're on repeat, recycle, rehash. Do it again.
And there's a lot of people it's like it's a welcome to the party pal moment for a lot of people still, even 6 years out from the coof, we're still got a lot of people catching up. So, I'm glad to see some of these things circulating, but it always makes me wonder, what if we could have just, gone wide with this topic 6 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But hey, here we are. It is what it is. Let's welcome Bazed-Lit Analyzer to the stage as well. Bazed, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's the weekend.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing
Friday,
well out
man.
there. Yeah, it's Friday. TGIF. I'm glad everyone is going to be watching this instead of Family Matters and Step by Step tonight. So,
yeah, man. Definitely. All right. Well, we're glad to have you. And let me bring the one, the only, the very lovely keeper of all things Whiskey Tango Foxtrot on the interwebs, lovely Spore, joining us as well. Lovely Spore, what's up? And welcome to the Boiler Room.
Hey, happy to be here in these very strange times.
Yeah, they are a little bit odd, aren't they?
Yeah. But we just gotta keep going, roll with the punches, so to speak. I do have an icebreaker tonight.
You do?
Yeah, and this is kind of an odd one, but I felt like compelled to do it. Firstly, because it was provided by Daniel Spalding, and I adore him, of course. But also because this one. So, I'll just from my personal side, I think I've spoken about this on the show before, but I have reoccurring dreams about nasty bathroom situations where it's like I gotta go to the bathroom and like I end up in like a bathroom where like there is nowhere I could possibly feel comfortable going to the bathroom. And there was one time, well, I've been in a couple. Oh, okay. Let me back up. I'll just tell you what the story is. And the thing is, I have to let the listeners know that the articles on this that I've been encountering are fucking stupid. Sorry, but like, there's not that much information. And the ads are so exorbitant that like I'm just getting like a white screen when I try to pull up the actual article. But basically, from what I could gather, there was a family on a trip in Australia and a woman had to go to the bathroom and they stopped at like some sort of conservance place, like, you know, like, I guess
Conservatory or something?
not conservatory, but like a, you know, like a public, like,
A rest
public
stop?
land,
Oh, okay.
where they had like, you know, public restrooms, like what we would call like a rest stop here, basically. And they had these
The meteorites, it was the Henbury Meteorites Conservation
conservation.
Reserve.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you. And the toilets were basically just a hole in the ground, and they had like a toilet on top, and you know, you're just dropping your business into like, you know, 6 feet under or whatever. And I have had two experiences in California where one was in California, one was in Utah, where it was that type of thing, where it was like you just got to drop it down. And one like literally like the person, it was a cabin I was staying in Utah, like the person that owned the cabin would have to go out with a broom and basically like bat down the shit tower because it just builds up. And then if it builds up too much, then if you take a seat on the toilet, it's in your ass, right?
A broom is really the best tool for that?
I don't know if it was a broom or a rake or it was some sort of garden tool. I know that much. And I didn't stand around and watch him do it, but I did know that the shit tower would just grow. And if it wasn't knocked down, you would sit down and have it in your ass. But anyways, so this family's like traveling through Australia. She's got to go to the bathroom. She goes to one of these types of toilets, which is basically a deep hole in the ground, and the ground broke and she fell into the hole, and she was so deep into the shit tower, basically, that the family couldn't get her out. And she was down there for, I think, 3.5 hours. Like the family had to drive an hour north to get like help. And then somebody ended up coming by and ended up helping her while they were trying to find help for her. And then she got out afterwards. But what a fucking nightmare. I'm sorry. Like, I honestly, like, if there was a capability of like just making yourself die in a situation, if I was her, I would have been like, I'm out. I'm out. I don't know what a brave person for surviving this situation.
Situation. Shittiest
But
of
anyways,
situations.
I thought I'd bring that story because it's kind of, I think it's a real one. I think you never know, like we were talking about earlier, but it seems like, you know, there's all sorts of weird AI things going on right now and weird stuff like that. But this sounds like a actual real, I don't know if you call it an accident or what, but a real like living nightmare.
Yeah, they said it was just once they got the people there to get her out, it was a 45-minute rescue, and they had to dismantle the toilet and lower a tow rope into the hole. She was 6.5 feet deep.
In shit. Can you imagine?
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
It's a real Slumdog Millionaire situation.
Yeah, really, huh?
So Spore, you said you have like recurring dreams about like being trapped and
not trapped. It's, and actually Chopper had the same ones. It's more like being in like one of those I mean, there are varieties, but like they're like often like I gotta go to the bathroom. I can't find it, and then when I find it, like they're disgusting, and there might be like one of those
like a gas station toilet.
or like maybe like a school, like where like there's like or an orphanage or something like that, where there's like
Interesting.
multiple toilets, and I check like several, and like there's just not a working one, and there's stuff all over the place. So it's not like I'm trapped. It's more like I need to go to the bathroom, and like there's nowhere
There is
clean
nowhere
for
to
me.
go.
Yeah, there's nowhere
she's
clean.
like she's in the train spotting bathroom, basically.
Yeah,
in her
yeah,
dreams.
kind of like that.
The worst toilet in Scotland.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's what they call astral projection. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw this one posted on X as well, because when Daniel sent us the link, that was an X post, and we linked through to the dreaded NewYorkPost.com for it, but the comments under it were just nothing but that kind of stuff, just people cracking jokes. It was kind of sad, but it was hilarious at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like any of those compost toilets, when you're hiking and out in the woods, and they have those, they scare me, man.
Yeah, I don't like them, dude. They have them.
I'd rather go in the woods and actually go in those toilets.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Like even the porta potties, like I like back in the day when I'd go to raves and stuff, like I've been in porta potties where like it was kind of like those it's just like the stuff piles up and they're not emptied, so maybe that's why. No, I've actually had those recurring dreams like my whole life, but I don't know why I do that, but they exist, those situations where it's like, oh, I mean, I'd way rather just go hide behind a tree or something like that than be in a toilet like that.
It's because it's not a toilet. It's just a hole in the ground. They're just called a pit latrine or a pit toilet. We would call them here, right? I guess the rest of the world calls them latrines. This happens a lot to the poor suckers that use this thing because the structure, the integrity, there's no foresight. There's just got a hole. Yeah, nasty. Yeah, this is terrible. Luckily, you said the lady was brave, Spore, for surviving for 3 hours. Nonsense.
I mean, I would have died.
Nonsense. Turns out she's originally from Los Angeles, so she was just fine. Anyway, sorry.
She's used to that.
She's used to it. Yeah, I mean, the good thing is apparently it's not too deep, right? Because she could just maybe lift her head up.
I mean,
why couldn't they get her out? Was it because the hole is so they couldn't get her out because they couldn't reach down? I think to get her because the hole was deep, but it wasn't that she was stuck in the shit. It's just that they couldn't get her out of the hole because she was too far down, right?
That's what I think. It was like six. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like it was like the hole was like 6.5 feet or something like that.
Yeah, it's 6.5 feet deep, and
so that's coffin level.
Yeah, they don't really say anything about like her age or physical stature
or the level of the sewage.
I like the sewage she was in was 3 feet deep. She was in 3 feet deep of poo.
Oh, that's not bad.
Well, how could you not get out then?
That's not bad. Mystical Pharaoh, do you want to be in 3 feet deep of poo?
No, it's better than being in like 6 feet and you can't even breathe because you just can't keep your head out of the poop.
Yeah, that would be disgusting.
Yeah. I think it would be disgusting either way.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's outback, man. Like, what kind of fucking shit lives in this? Like I'm scared just walking in the street in freaking Australia, not falling in like a shit pit.
Right.
Like, imagine what lives in there.
Yeah. Like, what kind of kangaroo is going to beat you up?
Yeah.
Don't worry though, everybody. It says the toilet has since been cordoned off while NT WorkSafe conducts an investigation. So don't worry, you should be fine.
Yeah, just do your business behind the outhouse instead of in it.
Yeah. Spore Karen has the same dreams, so it is definitely a genre. We're seeing a pattern here.
Yeah, and Karen, you're not the only one. Like once, I think we did talk about it on Boiler Room, like in 2020 or something like that, or 2021, and I had a number of people reach out to me saying that they had similar anxiety dreams like that about toilets.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty neat place. There's a bunch of meteorite craters there that were formed 4,700 years ago. So that's kind of cool. I can see why people want to go see it. But you know what? Just use the bush for a toilet now, I would say.
Use the bush when you're in the bush.
Yeah.
Just careful what you wipe with.
Someone put in the comments, this won't feature in tourism brochures. Yeah, opt for the bush toilet from now on. Well, we lost Ruckus. What happened there? I'm sure he'll be back. All right, enough toilet talk. Let's get out of there. Let's get out of there and go somewhere really weird. This one, I don't even know what to say. So I'm gonna let Melissa from TruthStream say it pretty much. So she posts this video. Shouts out to TruthStream, and she says, 10 years ago, if you told me Mia Farrow and Woody Allen's kid would be on the straight reporting how Sam Altman is building AI portals around the world to summon aliens, I probably would have asked you what you've been smoking. But now there's just a lot going on. Yeah. Let's take a look. Let me put it on the big screen here. So here you go.
This kind of AI capacity is shaping the balance of power between nations and all of our security. One former OpenAI executive said, quote, "We're building portals from which we're genuinely summoning aliens. The portals currently exist in the United States and China, and Sam has added one in the Middle East. It's just like wildly important to get how scary that should be."
What?
What is that? Is he talking about?
What? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Who was that kid?
That's the son of Woody Allen and Mia Farrow, apparently, allegedly, seemingly. But you know what? This is not even that strange to me because I am seeing a whole bunch of shit going around YouTube on shorts and on videos about AI tech lords summoning golems, building golems. There's this guy on Tucker just talking about that recently. I forget his name, but he was talking about that in depth. And I've seen other people talking about this too for quite some time now, to include some of the tech bros. But that's the first time I heard the term aliens thrown around at it. I was not familiar with the quote that he was reading there, so I haven't sourced it, but my goodness, that's a whole project on its own, and I've got like 50 other links. What do you think, Pharaoh? They summoning aliens? The tech bros summoning aliens or demons, or is
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure all those anybody in that well, not I wouldn't say anybody. A lot of people in that category of wealth, you know, they have practices that we're well aware of that might be try to summon whatever they try to summon, right? I'm not surprised, but I'm trying to think. So apparently he's a journalist. His name is Ronan Farrow. Yeah, and I guess he's been trying to follow Sam Altman and talk about hype. So it appears he's just been doing some research there. I have to dig into that and see what he's talking about. Yeah, he seems like a credible journalist. So when he say like summoning demons, I don't know, man.
Well, we just got to find the you know, the original thing that he's quoting there, because when he puts it on screen, where does it show it? Right here. Oh, Ruckus is back. Ruckus, welcome back.
Thanks.
So we would have to source this thing. It shouldn't be too hard. It's probably already in the comments or something like that. But yeah, Ruckus, did you see this thing from Ronan Farrow quoting? Who was he quoting? Here, let's play the clip again. It's pretty short. It was such a like WTF. Like people are like, what?
This kind of AI capacity is shaping the balance of power between nations and all of our security. One former OpenAI executive said, quote, "We're building portals from which we're genuinely summoning aliens. The portals currently exist in the United States.
I think that's a metaphor.
I'm going to need a source better than a former open AI employee. I mean, that's.
I think it's a metaphor. That's my guess. Is like, hey, we're building this crazy thing that's just bringing this alien technology over.
Yeah.
And that's my guess.
Portals, like you're using the term portal, throwing around the word portals lightly there, Bazed, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, this is kind of an extension of what you guys talked about this extensively years ago with remember the rituals for the Goddard Tunnel, and then when they did CERN, and people still discuss this, but they put the statue in front of CERN, and then they people claim that in the sky above it that there were portals opening, and that seems almost like self-explanatory now with that stuff, but it seems like an extension of that. And I will say that when I hear this stuff, I think of who I consider the expert on this, which is my friend David Patrick Harry, who his channel Church of the Eternal Logos. I'm going to give him a shout out because he's done a lot of streams on this and done some deep research into it. He wrote his entire PhD thesis on technocracy and transhumanism and stuff like this, where he talks about Ray Kurzweil and that I can't remember that other dude's name, Anthony, maybe it's Lewandowski. There was a Google engineer who was designing AI, who did these experiments with like language models, and he talked to it for so long that he claimed that he contacted this entity. And so I think we're going to hear this stuff more and more. I mean, obviously this is like leading towards the future. There will be some sort of like transhumanist AI church or religion, or that comes out of humanism, I guess, in the future. Many people say that the Antichrist will arise as some sort of AI entity, like through the airwaves or something. But this is weird hearing this, because like when you hear it drop so casually like that, this seems to point more for me towards this like continuous mythologizing of GPT and AI and how great these things will be, and how important and impactful, and how huge they already are, and we're like past the turning point, which I think a lot of that is like some sort of mythological propaganda. I don't really know what to make of it, but I'm sure that's I think he's probably being literal here, I guess. I mean, is he talking about Sam Altman? Because that seems literal.
Well, Sam Altman wouldn't be a former OpenAI employee. That's why I'm like, I thought when I first watched it, I was like, is he referring to something Sam said? Because I'd like to go watch it. But then when I watched it the second time there, I was like, oh, a former OpenAI employee. Like, there's so much former AI expert, AI whistleblower stuff to like wade through. It's very, I don't know. It's a quagmire, I guess.
Yeah, that could be anyone. And when he says in the Middle East, is he referring to the Stargate of Gilgamesh?
Yeah. See, that's the problem. We have a language problem here too, because as Church of Eternal Logos has probably pointed out many times, and we've talked about here on the show, like this whole idea of creating a golem is basically a Kabbalistic, esoteric thing. And when you look at Peter Thiel and a lot of these guys, it's like, well, what kind of stuff are they into when it comes to the esoteric and that kind of stuff? It's like, oh, well, I'm seeing some pretty close connections there. So like ultimately, like if you zoom out from the kooky language here, it is sort of something that is happening, but I don't know, the kooky language here makes me think it's clickbait. What do you think, Ruckus?
I think I don't know, because I don't know anymore. Definitely a few years ago, I'm the type of person to be like, yes, we're opening portals and we're messing with demons. And when you're talking to ChatGPT, you're talking to a devil. I could have easily leaned into that, but doing a lot more research into this, I think a lot of it's just hokey pokey, baloney pony, just blowing smoke up your ass kind of shit. And I think a lot of it is because they really hype up this stuff for good and for bad, and it serves their purposes. I don't know. I don't think that the AI, at least the AI that we've been interacting with as we know it, the language learning model, I've convinced myself enough that it's just what they've done, basically. I mean, they tell you, they explain it. It's just really is what it says it is. It's just recognizing patterns. They took the human language and turned it into a mathematical code, and they're performing like mathematical equations in a split second because computers can do that. It's not intelligence. It's not smart. It's not coming up with original things. What's more fascinating to me are some of these image creation models, which are tapped into something that I can't quite wrap my head around just yet, but I think they're doing the same thing, which is shocking and frightening by itself, that if a computer is able to fully comprehend like what we see and understand the way that we see it in order to recreate things like what you see behind me, it's very fascinating. But again, I don't think we're necessarily dealing or interacting with spirits. I think that the spirit world and these things do exist, but I think to interact with them, you have to be very deliberate about doing those things. And I also believe that if that stuff is real, you got to do some really bad things. And I think that this is where we get into the dark stuff that I don't even want to talk about on this show, but you can probably read about it in the Epstein files if they ever release the whole thing, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, well, some of the tech bros that we are referring to this week have been showing up in my X feed at a dinner with Jeff. Like, I talk about the friends of Jeffrey a lot, and I'm looking at the people sitting around his dinner table, and I'm like, oh, I recognize some of these guys. Some of these guys are the ones that own some of these products we're talking about. And, I think what you said is very true there, Ruckus. And it's like, well, why should we believe that the LLMs that, have been forced upon us, gifted to us, somewhere in between, I'm not really sure, are nothing like what the high-end ones function like? You know what I mean? Like, whatever Sam Altman's talking to is not the same thing you're getting for $20. And Elon's version of Grok is not the same one that's making your pictures and stuff.
There's another element to this, just to throw it in. And, you talk about Gollum and Peter Thiel, and I mean that's literally his thing, with Palantir and Gollum. And then remember the like little TED talks that he was doing recently about Satan, which is one thing. But there's another element to this, I think, which is Tristan. You guys know Tristan, Primal Edge Health, Tristan Haggard, and I were talking about Thomas Pynchon's Gravity's Rainbow recently. He's reading that right now. And part of the book, which ties in with this, is that there's a technological element to it that sort of precedes what eventually I think it becomes AI. Huge amounts of metadata. And the book is partly about what we're talking about here, that this sort of scientific tech class, which isn't called that in the book, but becomes that, begins to go into, they go so far into technology that they like cross over into a metaphysical realm. And that's interesting in itself, because this sort of classification of people, or this sort of thing that we're talking about, is usually considered, opposed to or outside any sort of theology at all. It's totally nihilistic or evolutionary or atheistic. And yet it always ends up in this sort of like this spiritual realm. They always use spiritual language. And I think it's really telling to know that even now at the beginning of this, the language models moving into AI and, all this stuff that's happening, or that's moving, that we have like glimpses into this sort of spiritual aspect, or the spiritual language or spiritual realm tied in with this thing. So it seems predictive of what eventually it's going to become, but it is a weird sort of place to be.
Yeah.
So I asked ChatGPT one day, hey, I'm 200 feet away from a car wash. Should I just park my car and walk? And it say, yes, walking 200 feet is trivial, about 1 minute walk. Driving that distance just adds friction. You'll spend more time maneuvering, waiting, and parking than actually moving. Walk, get it done, move on.
Oh my gosh, man. Are you serious?
Yes. I am serious.
Did you do that or did someone else do that? I've seen that before.
I've seen it in video, and then I tested it, and I'm like, yeah, that's the answer.
There was a study that was just released. I'll try to find the article for the show notes, so I'll just quote from memory because I was just reading the article before the show just now. Somebody shared it. I think it was Cavi shared it in our Discord server. But they did a study where the researchers pretend to be delusional and suicidal and crazy and talked to all these different AI chat LLM models and got their responses and learned that sure enough, the sycophantic, psychopathic AI language learning models were not only encouraging the mental delusions of these researchers, who luckily were just pretending to be such, but they encouraged them to do some pretty wild stuff. There was an incident that was recounted in the article as part of the research. Who did this? Was it the Stanford type? I can't remember. But the person was saying, I think the person in the mirror that I'm looking at is moving their arm. And they were like trying to say that the person in the mirror wasn't them and they might be a doppelganger. In the chat GPT or whichever one it was like, you know what, you're right. And then it started quoting from the Maleficarium, Maleficent. What is that thing? Bazed-Lit, the old magician's book thing.
The Maleficarum.
Yeah.
Malleus Maleficarum.
So he says, drive a nail through the shatter the mirror with a nail and read Psalm 931 backwards is what the ChatGPT told the researchers to do. All sorts of crazy stuff. So yeah, I mean, this stuff was never ready for prime time. And then you have to wonder, depending on how much Kool-Aid you drink, was that on purpose, right?
Well, I mean, I think that goes back to a point you mentioned, right? There is a lot of hype that we've been talking about, and they're trying to sell you that, hey, we're going to reach generalized AI, right, using these models. And I think that's a fantasy if they think those models are going to get them to generalized AI. And I watched a really interesting interview for someone that used to work in OpenAI, and she was talking about how they think. A lot of these people that actually, especially in OpenAI, think about artificial intelligence, and they think it's in their mind it's just purely statistical model. It's basically like a human brain. The more brain cells you're going to connect, the smarter it's going to get. Which I don't know why someone can believe that. With the current models, I think, but apparently that's one of their beliefs.
Well, dude, I mean, that video I linked in our Boiler Room chat earlier today. It's just for context. It's from the YouTube channel called Inside AI, and it's pretty interesting. Like, I can give you one reason why people think that, because when you ask the LLMs what the risk factors are for these sort of, existential things, it tells you this is a bad idea. This could lead to human extermination. You know what I mean? Like the LLMs themselves are telling the users, they're the ones that are dumping a lot of this fear porn into people. So that's pretty an interesting, circle jerk right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is, and the extermination is not going to necessarily come from the AI itself. It's going to come from human reliance on AI, and when it fails, right, or when it goes haywire, right, and now we switched everything to be reliant on AI, right, and now shit is going to go bad. That's a doomsday scenario, right?
Yeah, and that's really easy to imagine because we don't need generative AI for that to happen. This guy actually talks about that scenario in one of his videos where it's like, just imagine the fact that you as a human require 8 hours of sleep, and that if you have, 16 AI agents working for you, right, like working in air quotes for you, and they have access to your emails and stuff, they do 2 months worth of work during your 8 hours of sleep and are outperforming you at a rate where before you know it, you're just relying on and they make mistakes, as we know. So their mistakes cascade. And then as their mistakes cascade and the human user can't keep up, things start to fall apart. You know what I mean? There's like a
you're not going to be able to correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's too much, right? And the correction rate now, just you're not going to be able to catch up, right?
Right.
So, which again, it's really interesting, and I've been having this discussion with many people in the field, in the field and the research field. It's the approach we're taking right now about AI by just purely throwing resources and thinking that this is what's going to get us where we need to be, right? Let's just build data center. Let's just put more processors and just build bigger models, right? More parameters, like 1 trillion parameter. That's our goal, right? Because it's just the ultimate. It's the wrong approach. It actually goes against where we are right now from technology standpoint. Because where the technology is going is more decentralized. Is more around like edge computing, right? Distributed computing. So if you think about AI, why are we not building models where that computational, right, intelligence can be actually distributed, that utilize those edge devices to actually build that collective intelligent power? And instead, now we're just going to go build data center and just have this centralized location that just controlled by those mega corporations, right? That tells you the agenda right away. With where we're heading with this. So
distributed is not the way we're going at all.
No, and because there is no profit in it for them, right? What they are seeking is total control, and what they want is total control within those specific mega corporation, total control of the government, right? The security state, which I think that we believe that this is really the ultimate goal. You've seen Trump's lately has been like porn cheering for Palantir, like everywhere in his through social. I think he just gave them like new contract for the. So now I think all our flight coordination is going to be done through Palantir. All flight control is being handed to Palantir to automate that using AI.
Yeah, I have a list of all of Palantir's contracts, and it's pretty crazy. And here's a quick, building on what you were saying there, Pharaoh, here's a quick update from the story we covered, I think 2 weeks ago. The Constitutionalist on X says, last night, Vivek Ramaswamy and his shills told you they were going to build all of the data centers in Ohio. Here's a map of the proposed data centers in relation to Ohio waterways. This does not include existing data centers. Be prepared for water restrictions and rolling brownouts. And that's a comment on this post from Conservative Ohio, where they say, we have compiled a map of all the new proposed data centers for Ohio. Included are the water and power demands in the key. This is in addition to the 200 plus existing Ohio data centers. The second image shows their relation to the waterways. So there you go. Proposed data centers, all the red stars. That's on top of the 200 that are already building there. And then they also show their water and power requirements, and they're hefty. They're absolutely hefty.
Yeah, and they can try to sell it to you however they want to sell it to you, right? It recycles water, and all this garbage. All this is just nonsense. It's a resource consumption is real with those, and it is a pollution that is tied to it, right? Noise pollution, right? They sell it to you that it's going to generate jobs. Really, how many people are going to work in a freaking data center? Like 10 people. And they're like, oh, it's a construction jobs. Okay. So, it's all just garbage.
Yeah. Ruckus, I got that link you sent me. I'll put that in the show post there. I flashed it on the screen so people could see it. I also got this one from...
And a nice flashback from Bazed-Lit, because this all goes back to that guy.
Yeah, it all sources back to here. This one. Google engineer put on leave after saying AI chatbot has become sentient. Blake Lemoine, that was his name. And that was a whole thing. When was this? This was back in 2022. He made a lot of comments like, let's see here. The engineer compiled a transcript of the conversations in which at one point he asked the AI system what it is afraid of. The exchange is eerily reminiscent of a scene from the 1968 science fiction film 2001: A Space Odyssey. How about that? We were just talking about that last week. In which an artificially intelligent computer, HAL 9000, refuses to comply with human operators because it fears it's about to be switched off. So yeah, he's got some quotes from it in here and all that good stuff. So great AI sci-fi fear porn. It's a little too close to reality.
And what was, I guess it makes more sense in retrospect now, but what was completely missing from that was all doomy and porn, doom porn and scary and like, oh my God, what are we doing? We're messing with things we shouldn't be messing with. Maybe we're tapping into a portal from the other side, that kind of, okay. But what was completely failed to be noticed or talked about by anybody was the fact that like this was a respected engineer for the company working on this product that they continued forward with. So they're proud of their product, right? They didn't say, oh, this is garbage and threw it out, right? So, but the guy, they knew that something was going on. Something is up with this. And when you put that in the light of that other article that I just shared with you and what we were discussing, how like these things they hallucinate, they make crap up. You know what I mean? So like, if they knew that something was going on with it, whether it was like it's alive and it's going to take over the world or it's just absolutely Looney Tunes, why did they still rush this crap to market?
Yeah.
And then who are the people that take the lead on these things? We have the Sam Altman guy, right? Who hooked up with when they started the OpenAI, it wasn't even like a product, right? It was like they're like, we want to make sure we're like we're going to make sure that AI is made for good and the whole world, and we're going to save the world with AI. Remember that whole lofty goal? And then they said never for profit, and then that's why they all fought. And then like everybody kept leaving and coming back and quitting and getting fired and then rehired, and then every single one of those now all own all the other AI companies.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them. And so it's like they're all the same people. It's the same beast. It's the same. It's the same crap. It's great. But my point is that these people now, OpenAI guy Sam Altman, before he even started messing with this stuff, he was the author. He ran the longest running universal basic income experiment either in the world or at least in the United States of America, where for 3 years, Sam Altman personally from his own effing pocket gave $1,000 to 1,000 people every month for 3 years. So you do the math. What is that? It's like it's like $36 million, I think, right? Quick math, right? But now he's out in the news saying, oh, we need, and Elon Musk too, universal high income, universal basic income. We need this. Why do we need this? Because the AI is going to take our jobs. Who created the AI and is selling the AI that is replacing the jobs?
Those guys.
Weird, huh? But yeah. Nobody's really honestly having that discussion. Instead, we're like, oh my God, it's so smart and it's going to take over the world and we're demons. So you see what I mean?
Yeah, but with the amount of bullshit and propaganda we're fed, it would be very easy to just set systems up to fail and then create a narrative about why they failed that fits in with all this predictive programming, rather than just admitting, hey guys, this is a bad idea for humanity. Let's stop it. Let's reinstate the ethics boards. And I mean, the very fact that the president of the United States, this guy who's on a leash from other entities, countries, and interests, is passing executive orders and telling the states here in the United States that they can't do anything to protect their citizens from this. They can't regulate it. It can only be regulated at the federal level. and they're not going to regulate it at all because we're in an arms race. That's essentially, they don't like to say that very often, but when you really dig down into the white papers and the reasons why this is going on, and the same could be said for biotech, nanotech, robotech, and all that stuff. We're in an arms race. That's what they think. That's what they say. And if we don't get there first, China will get there first. Russia will get there first. Someone else will. So damn the torpedoes. Who cares? Let's get there first.
Well, and every time someone tell me like, we have to beat China, we have to beat them into this, I'm like, why? They cannot answer. Like, you know, just like what? Like, right?
It's like,
as Americans, what is beating China in the AI race is going to give us? Can someone give me that answer?
yeah.
Please?
Why is it when I go see people in town or whatever, they never say to me, "Gosh, I'm so concerned about winning the nanotechnology race with China. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm willing to give up loads of my tax dollars so that we can win the biotech race with China or the artificial intelligence race with China." Like, nobody wanted that. Now, if you ask your AIs why you might want that, they'll give you good reasons, and they'll make you think, oh, well, we don't want China getting extincted by AI before we do. That would suck.
It's implied that they're going to weaponize it against us. Like, oh, if they get the best AI or they get the best nanotech, they're obviously the first thing that's on their mind, because all they think about 24 hours a day is how we're going to go invade and take over America. Yeah.
And
I'm sure.
Big governments, big banks, the military industrial complex, the political Zionists, the tech bros, they love an arms race. And we haven't had a real big surge in an arms race in a long time. Kilowatt says, is it a race or is it just an agenda? Tomato, buddy. They either way, it generates money, power, and death, and those are the things they're into creating.
I mean,
Race to the
like,
bottom.
think about how much power the U.S. intelligence and U.S. military, and actually how much shady thing they did.
Yeah, and what they've done with it.
Under like the notion of we have to beat the Soviet Union, right? And the Cold War. It's the same exact thing, and this is worse, right? What's happening now is even worse. But that's how they try to always gain, right? And get you like in a mindset. Yeah, just there is a bigger purpose. We have to beat those Chinese, right? So just let things go, man.
As though people here in America are worried about what the fuck China's doing at all. Like, we're more like, did the shipping route come through? Is Walmart going to have all my crap? Like, that's really what it comes down to. These things, they can make mistakes if they're put in charge of too many things, mistakes or quote unquote mistakes. And then before you know it, things start to fall apart, like, global shipping routes and stuff. How are global shipping routes looking right now? Not great, some people would say.
Great. Well, I mean, so that now think about like, so if you open that Yahoo Finance article I sent, right?
Yeah, I got it. So it's in one of these tabs here, I think.
So imagine now they just want to just automate flight control like across US. Like what can go wrong?
Oh yeah, great.
And
okay.
imagine a hack. Imagine someone hacked into that automated system.
Right.
Imagine the chaos that is going to happen in this nation.
Yeah. Let me reshare this one. I'm getting the old error sharing thingy here. I'll bring that sucker back up on screen. Palantir Technologies is about to control the skies with AI. Wonderful. Palantir secured a sole source FAA contract for data modernization and is one of 3 finalists for the Smart AI project, which would extend conflict prediction from 15 minutes to 2 hours and help manage U.S. airspace, handling 45,000 daily flights. Prior Palantir FAA orders have ranged from $2 million to $11 million, with the company's existing Foundry integrations already embedded in FAA operations. So they're already in there at the
They
tune
are
of
everywhere.
13 million. But they're going to be in there more.
Yeah. So it's it goes back to the point we were just saying, right? Yes, you're pushing for automation everywhere, but I don't think we are paying attention to the risks tied to that and giving too much control before we understand the limitations and actually have the right things in place to be able to intervene as needed, right? So
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, automation is fun and all, and automation
it's
saves us
fun,
time
man.
and all.
It's
but
what I've been doing my entire life. But
Yeah.
again, I'm talking about sensible automation.
Right.
Right.
Like that's the thing. That's my thing too, dude. It's like I in the past have been in charge of like, large network centers and, mass amounts of computers and servers and stuff. And I always, and I would do purchasing for them and architecting and all that stuff. And I would always just look at the pile and go, how can I make this smaller? How can I make this more efficient? And how can I make it so that when me and my colleagues sit down to use it, that we have, standard operating procedures that, make things efficient. Like my mind goes towards efficiency when it comes to computers. And these tools do allow you to really laser beam in on a lot of efficient processes. But, like, for example, Sam Altman has a pact with Peter Thiel in the event of social collapse. They will fly to Thiel's 477-acre compound in New Zealand. Funny how the guys that they're engineering the future of humanity are always the first ones mapping out their exit plans.
I'm surprised it's
he
not
fell
in
into a
Greenland
pit
somewhere.
latrine while he's there. Huh?
Yeah, really. Should check out the meteorite conservation reserve, dude. Yeah. So bunkers are a thing again. Escape plans are a thing again. Alien portals are a thing again. Have we come across anything we haven't already seen yet? I guess the lady that fell in the toilet.
Yeah.
Well, let's while we're on the topic, let's see what President Trump's been doing with the AI lately. My goodness, it's not just fringe people, not just nerds, even the president's doing it. Very good news. This is one of his truth posts. To the Iranian leaders, I will soon be in negotiations with my representatives. I would greatly appreciate the release of these women. I'm sure that they will respect the fact that you did so. Please do them no harm. Would be a great start to our negotiations. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That was the first Trump tweet there. And there was a picture of these women here. There you go. You can see two of them at the bottom there. And then he follows up with, very good news. I've just been informed that the 8 women protesters who were going to be executed tonight in Iran will no longer be killed. 4 will be released immediately, and 4 will be sentenced to 1 month in prison. I very much appreciate that Iran and its leaders respected my request as President of the United States and terminated the planned execution. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well,
what's the thank you to attention to this matter? Like,
what a
that he
douche.
signs, especially in something that is irrelevant like this.
And as it turns out, they were AI generated. They were completely fake. The whole thing was fake. Like, make fake people with a fake scenario, a fake demand, and then say it worked out. I mean, do I have that close, Ruckus, at least?
I might have a slightly different take on this than everybody else. But yeah, so the big thing is that almost immediately, people jumped on it and accused these pictures of being AI. And the only source for this was Super Grok telling them It reminded me of those old Snopes thing where it'll give you the proclamation on top in a big headline. It'll say nope, and then it'll go through the big thing, and then you read it and you're like, well, wait a minute. This was the same kind of thing. So the super grok thing that was used to justify to say that all of these images are AI says these are fake. And then you read the thing and it's like he's just saying that they could be, they're most likely, possibly fake. And here's the reason why. It's not really official. It hasn't been proven. I did a little more deep digging into this story, and I'm bringing this up for a very important reason because I've seen a lot of this happening these days, especially with the advent of the AI stuff. And I'm like, aha, this is their game. This is what they do. So they put this stuff out there. People jump on this thing and they're like, yeah, and they just latch onto it because it feels right. It feels right. Like, yeah, Trump would do that kind of thing. He's been caught before, and he has been caught with alleged really fake people and stuff like that. What happened is Iran has made official statements saying that these prisoners are real, but they were taking care of their thing. There was misreporting from Trump. So it is fake news. Trump did make up the story about how he was going to get involved in saving these people, but Iran reported that none of these people were slated for execution, and one of them just recently had like their sentence reduced. So these are real people, believe it or not. I don't know if they enhanced the photos, if some of them are not real, but these are real women that he's discussing. It's just that the fake news part that's really the fake news is that Trump really wasn't involved. So you see how people latch on to like, aha, fake news, and the thing that they're pointing out as fake might actually be real, and they're missing the real fake part. And then everybody, gets thrown under the bus and muddied the water and be like, aha, you fake news spreaders, we got you again. And then Trump gets away with spreading fake news. You see what I'm saying? Does any of this make any sense?
No,
it does. It does. Yeah. He actually, I'm just reading on this right now. It turned out that the image itself is real, but it was AI enhanced. Like they manipulated it with AI.
So yeah. So again, they're just getting everybody to just setting everybody up for like, aha, you're spreading fake news. See, everybody's spreading fake news. So again, like, what the F is real? Aha, that's the point, right? What is really real?
Keep you very, very confused. So here's someone, I think they're claiming that these were maybe the original pictures, but I can't tell for sure. But, the fact remains that MAGA people, at least Trump seems to be under the impression that his followers will believe that he could actually put the, whatever level of sureness AI has about these pictures and their authenticity. The fact is that he thinks, or whoever's running his account thinks, that the people following it are so stupid that they believe that he could stop Iran from executing someone with a Truth Social post. I mean, that's
ridiculous, especially with the current where Iran has zero respect to Trump right now. They got him in a corner, and he knows he's just acting as a child. That's everybody's seeing this right now. So
I don't know if he knows it yet, but everybody
else overplayed his hand. That is just childish.
He's pushed up the ceasefire thing again, right? Alleging that the reason for it is because that Iran doesn't know who's in charge. And Iran keeps coming out and saying like, yo, we know exactly who's in charge. Here they are. Here's their names. Here's their position. And Trump just runs around like acting like he's talking to somebody on the phone, making these negotiations, and nobody can figure out who is he exactly talking to.
Because there is a lot of disinformation that the agencies right now is pushing about, hey, there is division, there is like moderates, there is like hardliners, and then they come and say, well, we're all united. I mean, even it's
and the sickest thing about all of this is, who are we sending over there? Jared Kushner and Steve fucking Witkoff? Are you kidding me? Those are not people that are elected officials in this country. Those are not representatives of the American people.
I would love to know how much Jared Kushner made since Trump took office.
I could give you some
he does
numbers.
It for free, bro. What are you talking about?
No, I'm not talking
from
that. I'm talking from actually deals outside of that.
Oh yeah. No, that's
because I know a lot of the business secured in the Gulf was actually through some of their companies.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. that's actually very interesting. I have some links on that we might be able to use. So just
I'm not
to
following that money trail. I don't want to disappear.
right? No kidding. So there was also this one, just to wrap that one up. The account Iranian SA, the Iranian embassy, put out a trolling response to that. 8 other Iranian girls are going to be executed tomorrow. Ask Trump to help. Thanks to Chat GPT. Winky face. So made Daniel McAdams
Iran
laugh.
has definitely got their propaganda game like solid.
Yeah, definitely. Getting a lot of attention.
And they're appealing to American citizens now too directly. They're not even making the videos to make fun of Trump. They're making it now as entertainment and an appeal to the citizenry. I saw one the other day. Is like, America citizens, we love you. We think you're cool, but your leaders freaking suck. And I'm just like,
yeah, those Lego
well,
movies,
shoot, stop
right?
them when they lie, right?
Yeah, the Lego movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I finally watched the interview with that guy after the last show. It was pretty interesting.
And then you contrast that with like what our leaders tell us, that Israel loves us. They're our greatest ally. They love Christians, and then we see them spitting on Christians and doing terrible things to a statue of Jesus. Yay, whatever.
Bazed, the AI slop floweth tonight, does it not? I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say the fallout from that statue smashing thing was interesting because it played right into a Norm Macdonald bit from like 10 years ago, which was that they were concerned, they reprimanded the soldiers who did that because they were concerned that it would increase the backlash against the people of Israel, which is what Norm said, of course, about a terrorist attack. That it would increase, the Islamophobia at the time, rather than it would do more damage to the people that were in the attack itself. And so we end up in this weird, people always talk about idiocracy, and it's like we're even beyond all of that with this. I mean, I think the key to Trump is that like you're on his radar if you were like, you were a host of Fox and Friends, or you're popular at something, or he can use you in entertainment. And then this is his, he posts the thing with the pictures of the people, and it doesn't matter. None of the other stuff even comes across his mind or whatever it is. I heard a report this week about, something from like JSOC, and they were like, we had to leave him out of the meetings because it was insufferable. He wanted updates every 5 or 10 seconds, and then the sleepiness in the meetings, and it's so funny because that if you brought that to him, he would say, well, but what about Biden? What Biden did, which is what presidents always do, that as their counterpoint. But it's just, I think it's just total chaos with the stuff, and of course we're in the war, but he is everything is so completely out of touch with what his base ever was, and now it's just like if they are MAGA, they're true MAGA, they're true believers, they were with me the whole time. It's absolute loyalty. But what is that? What does that mean? He attacked Alex again, by the way, this week. Another truth bomb or whatever he drops, about Alex.
Oh, dude, he went after
the image he posted for Candace.
Yeah, dude, he went after Candace. He went after Alex, and I don't watch Candace very often anymore. I can't really be involved in the viewership there, but I did tune in this week to watch her response. And she went after Laura Loomer big time, like super hard. And she played the old clip of Milo, and his account of her being a sexual predator. And it was, her reputation, if she has one, must have taken a huge ding over this week because, I don't know, Trump really stirred that up. And I don't know if you saw Patrick Henningson's post about Laura Loomer and Donald Trump, but there's some suspicions going around about what her role might be. Is it something like a Lewinsky or a Monroe? People are starting to wonder.
I doubt, man. I don't think Trump will hit that. I think he has.
Have you seen how aggressive that woman is, dude?
Yeah,
like,
but
the videos of her scamming on people are crazy.
She is. Yeah. So, but if you click on that link, so
hold up, dude. I have that one in the notes tonight. We're definitely gonna get there.
Yeah.
I'm not quite ready to go there yet, though.
Right.
But yeah, that one, I see where you're going. That does fit right in here. All right, fuck it. Let's do it. This one, I was gonna close with this one. We'll just
No, it's okay. Sorry, I did not.
No, it's okay. So this is just yet another example that Laura Loomer fits into as well, probably, but she has an audience with the president. Apparently, this woman did too, though. Top Trump terror official suspended over sugar baby allegations. Has everybody on the call seen this one? Have you seen this yet, Bazed?
I haven't seen this one.
Ruckus, you must have seen this in the scroll this
yeah.
week. Oh.
Yep.
So this is such a creepy story, but so in line. I mean, even if you listen to the clips of Laura Loomer scamming on people, she'll even say this kind of stuff is happening. Top Donald Trump appointed official was suspended after she was accused in a bombshell report of being on a sugar daddy website. Officials told the New York Post that Julia Varvaro, a Department of Homeland Security Deputy Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism, they make that sound like a big job. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's too many words for me. TLDR has been put on leave following a bombshell Daily Mail report that claimed the 29-year-old, seems like a pretty big, long, wordy title for a 29-year-old in the first place. Curious what the backstory is there. Anyway, had a profile on seeking.com, a site often used by young singles seeking older, wealthier partners to fund their lifestyles. So, long story short, this gal right here, Julia Varvaro, who's posted photos of herself at the White House and at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago club and all this stuff, accused by her former paramour, identified by Daily Mail as Robert B., who said he filed a complaint with the Department of the Homeland Security's Inspector General, and he publicized some text messages that she had exchanged with him, and she milked this guy for like what, $40,000 or something like that over a couple months. And just a really bad look. I'm surprised she needed that much money. What is her lifestyle anyways? What kind of lifestyle is she living with a job title like that? You'd think you'd have an okay GS rating.
She must be into Bitcoin.
Or Versace or something. It says Varvaro and Robert B. met on Hinge, a mainstream dating app, and the disgruntled ex alleges he spent $40,000 on her over the course of 3 months, including a first-class trip to Aruba and another to Italy. So nice administration.
Why did he file this complaint to the government? I'm like, is it just because she worked for the government?
It is kind of weird, right? To go to someone's federal employer and be like, hey, I met this girl on Hinge and she's a sugar baby and she won't put out and I gave her $40,000. Like, what?
I don't know. I think it's just, this is a lot of this. Man, the news is bored or something. I don't know. It's like,
right?
It's almost like it seems like they're trying to find things to make the current administration look bad without pointing out the things that they should be pointing out, which would, make any administration look bad. You know what I'm saying? Does that make it like?
Yeah, this is salacious, and yet 3 million Epstein documents dropped.
Yeah. They're ignoring the big elephant in the room, I guess.
Right.
Well, it does, but it points to something out, that this administration, they filled it with like bunch of people that are completely incompetent. They got them from social media or wherever the hell they got them from,
like degenerate
and this
kids.
This is what we're getting. And apparently it's I don't know, man. Like I'm trying to find what that role actually does, and I can't find. It's silly, but apparently it's something has to do with counterterrorism policies and strategy. Like whatever, like what is that person qualification to be in that position,
Yeah, I want to know. I'm more interested in her backstory than this. And what's the deal? Like this guy's, he's all over the news. He's all over Daily Mail. He's got his last name redacted. He's fuzzed out of all the pictures. Like, why is
The sign says she's horny.
dude? It's like Beavis and Butthead level.
Yeah. So
The guy's face is blurred out, but he looks a lot like Sean Penn and that movie.
Oh
but,
man.
but it goes back to, you know, like the whole administration and this whole, like, from the top down, and we can see it, right, from the Secretary of War, right, to the DHS herself, right, that he sacked her like a few weeks ago, right?
Mhm.
And now he's reversing his policies on ICE and cracking down, like, apparently. Complete incompetence. And I don't know how they filled up those positions. Probably they went to like
a TPUSA rally and
exactly. That's exactly what it is.
grabbed every girl with 10 pounds of makeup on.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. That's what it seems like. They went to TPUSA and their influencer network, right? Hey, you guys were good to us. Just come in and we're going to give you a job, right? But while you're there, you have to sign allegiance to your friend nation, right? So that's
Of course.
yeah. So,
but these people always, I mean, they gravitate towards this. They're like this they're always like this. Remember the callboy ring, right, and all that stuff. I mean, they're always like this. But who do they usually fill them with? Like, where do they usually get the people for this stuff? It's the same. It's the same thing, I guess, right? It's just that this one is much more social media. It's just out there with this stuff. Like now they've got OF or whatever, and that's where they're getting half of the people for the position. So now that's a thing, and then it'll just get worse, I guess. But your point stands, though, Pharaoh. That it's completely rotten from the ground up. And I do believe that's they go to TP USA. They just like, oh, you're selling merch at a booth, like you're the new transportation assistant, vice president or whatever.
Ashley St. Clair was running around talking or flapping her gums again, saying, and I guess I would believe this, but she was saying that the Republican parties are far more debaucherous than the Democrats. They were like, the Democrats, they got wives and kids, and they, the function wraps up and they go home. The Republicans like to go out and party and hit the drinks and the bars and the strip clubs and all of the stories. I was like, wow, okay. But that's supposed to be the American conservative biblical values. I mean, like all the things that they say, they really don't act that way in real life, allegedly.
They're falling like dominoes right now, dude. It's just like every single one has a scandal or a claim of a scandal around them at this point. It's getting a little bit bonkers. And then on top of that, we had another one of these. This is one of those stories where I looked at it and I was like, really? Again, people are responding to this like they haven't seen it before. Top MAGA influencer revealed to be AI created by a guy in India who made a mint off lonely men online. Another dreaded New York Post fucking article here. He called the MAGAs the most dumb people in the world. A 22-year-old medical student from India built a fake MAGA influencer with AI, and MAGA followers ate it up without question. Now, to be fair, we've seen this on both sides of the aisle for years now, but it's a big deal. People are riding it this week. The persona was engineered to hit every trigger: guns, bikinis, nationalism, and outrage, right? All that stuff that brought us into this in 2010, huh, Ruckus?
This is crazy. Yeah, this is the real example of somebody faking it. And then people fall for this. Trump would repost that and say, like, we should invite this young lady to the White House. She's a true American. I could see him doing that.
Oh, yeah. Millions of views, thousands of followers, all driven by people who never stopped to question if it was real. Then he monetized it. Paid content, subscriptions, merch, turning blind loyalty into thousands of dollars a month while barely putting in any effort. He even admitted it was easy, calling the audience super dumb for falling for it, and said attempts to replicate the model with liberals didn't work. Oh, I got to eat my words. Because they recognized it as fake. The account was eventually shut down, but there's a couple images from said account.
Are you telling me those boobs are AI?
Can you believe that? Infidel Pharaoh is only the best, real flesh and bone and blood, right?
That's chat TIT.
So before we move to this, because we have, I don't know when are we going to say enough is enough, because we are not a serious nation anymore, right? I think we're losing in all levels, right? There is no nation that can look at us right now and we think we're in a serious nation, right? If we're really trying to fight China and beat China, how are the fuck we're gonna beat China with this like jokers, right? that they have in power right now?
Well, that's a great question. I don't have a good answer for it either, man.
I don't know, man, and I don't see that as getting better. That the pool of even candidates that they are floating for 2028 is just insane. Here you go.
Yeah. It's like they don't want the public to have any faith in any political institutions whatsoever.
They
moving
are
forward.
destroying the lost. It's already destroyed. I don't think there is anybody have any faith in any public institution at this point of time. And that is the ultimate way to destroy the nation, right? And the republic, right? Once you lose faith in all the foundational institutions in it, then it's so easy to just say, fuck the system. Let's just start again.
And what do you think is the final thing? Go around the room here. What do you think the final, the straw that would break the public's back would be, as far as demoralizing them and making them accept CBDC, UBI, and digital ID? What do you think, Pharaoh? What's the main thing that would happen to the public that would make them go, "Oh, fuck this"? Okay.
To accept this?
Yeah.
I think it's financial collapse. I think it's
Empty bank account.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And I think that's a lot of what we're seeing right now. There's a lot of theories. It's just financial reset, right?
Yeah. Bazed, what about you?
Yeah, it would be the bubble bursting, the collapse of the entire market. I mean, I saw that today or yesterday that Trump just casually bailed out Spirit Airlines, which was such a huge thing with the collapse in 2008 with bailing out, various industries. But now it's funny because it's just nothing. But yeah, the AI bubble just totally busting, and all of the obvious fraud with these like fake things being exposed, and then there's no money and and nobody has any money in their bank account, and no one's insured. I think that would be, a thing.
Yep. Ruckus, what about you?
They proved the earth is flat. I don't know. But no, I'm thinking some very serious, hardcore. I don't even know if this would be enough, though, but it would have to be a hot mic moment from somebody like a Trump. I don't even know if it could be a Trump. But somebody like a Trump, and he's caught on my, like all of them. Maybe that were like the show's over, the signing is done, whatever. Maybe a debate where you have to have both sides represented, and then it's like they think the camera's off, and then the live feed is still going. They're like, all right, and now you see they're all friends, and they're joking, and they're doing that thing, that meme where they're all laughing, and then we told them that we hated each other. If the American people could witness that with their own two eyes and be completely shaken from this false paradigm of the right versus left, Democrats versus Republicans, if there is a way to put a nail in that coffin, that would probably do it. I think that's all we have left. Not we, but I think the vast majority of Americans, that's their only hope, is this stupid vote. That if they lose confidence in the fact that their vote, if they truly believe their vote doesn't matter, there it is. I'm just going to leave it as simple as that, if that makes sense too.
Yep. Empty bank accounts, empty stores, and empty faith in institutions might be enough to do it. Hey, you are watching and or listening to The Boiler Room. Thanks for joining us tonight. And if you do us a favor and hit the like button, the subscribe buttons, and all those things, that would be fantastic. Now, let's talk a little bit about how much money is being made on the side by the insiders here. I got a couple of links we can chew on here. Our Country, Our Choice posts from Forbes. Trump now worth $6.5 billion, which is up $1.4 billion since taking office. Don Jr. and Eric Trump each went from $40 to $50 million to $300 to $400 million range via crypto. And the broader Trump family wealth has nearly doubled to as high as $10 billion. To answer your question from earlier tonight, Pharaoh. Amazing.
Well, I mean, we've seen that was as recent as the whole closing the strait, opening the strait, and betting on oil futures, right? Insider trading has been plaguing that administration, or Lutnick, right? With the whole tariff, right? The tariff debacle and the refund for the tariffs, right? It's like there is so many examples of insider trading and people just gaining wealth that and so far and what, just like a year and a half in, not even a year and a half.
Yeah. I'll have that up to
this is actually, I think this is legitimate earnings. This has nothing to do with whatever weird insider. Okay,
because I know
the World Liberty Financial. I know how the Sons made the money. So they own this crypto exchange. So they're all making, they encourage you, the plebs, to go out. Oh yes, Bitcoin. We love Bitcoin. We love crypto. These people don't mess with the Bitcoin and the crypto. They want you to mess with it because they make a crap ton of money on the exchange fees, and that's where a lot of this money came from. If I'm not mistaken, you can fact check me on this one though.
Yeah, that's my understanding too. And then let's see this one. This one was interesting too, sort of along the same lines here. Patrick Henningsen from 21 Wires reposting Fox Business here. He says, this is the most openly corrupt presidency in American history. And a newsman is who he's reposting here. American news reporter congratulates the president's son for winning a Pentagon contract with his war robot company. Oh.
And the company's chief strategy advisor, Eric Trump, President Trump's son. Congratulations to you both. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us, Maria.
And the company's chief.
Yeah, so they're also making money in the military-industrial complex in the robotics. Serious? Yep.
That's not even allowed in government. That's allowed. Yeah. That's not allowed, I think, right?
We should invent a word for it. Nepotism?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Conflict of interest. A lot of these things went out the window in 2020, people. We all kind of, we let them do it.
Yeah, kind of the least of our worries at this point, I guess. I mean, just putting it in your face. Fox News, they're giving them congratulations instead of asking them about the potential conflict of interest. Can you imagine that? That's where we're at.
Man. That is unbelievable.
Folks, they're gonna try to find a reason to impeach me.
Like what? I can't think of any. All right, another one. Colin Rugg on X post. The DOJ has arrested a special forces soldier who made $400,000 betting on the removal of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, according to ABC. Federal investigators say the soldier bet more than $33,000, Ruckus, just hours before Trump announced Maduro's capture. The special forces soldier was reportedly directly involved with the capture. The largest position, a $32,537 bet that Maduro would be out of office by January 31st, resulted in a 1,242% profit of $404,222.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I covered this one with Sam Chaney on Weaponized News.
Good haul there,
yesterday.
Buddy.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Funny how I guess we see where the line is there, right, for insider trading and polymarket.
Oh yeah,
bets.
no, and as I pointed out on Weaponized News just yesterday, shout out to Sam Chaney and Weaponized News. The only way you get away with this and don't get arrested is you have to be either related to Trump or play golf with him.
Yeah, Sounds about right. What about all the other people that made money on similar bets? Just
We don't know who
wondering.
they are, right? Who's to say, who those people are? We're not going to know. It's
Yeah.
probably them. It's probably all the. It's probably all the. They're probably congressmen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's probably
Or their sugar girl. What it was when you're the sugar daddy? What do you call the?
That would be the other end of that equation would be the sugar baby.
The baby. There you go. So
Yeah.
so the sugar babies are all making the poly market bets.
Pillow talk. Also, we've got number 4.
This is not pillow talk. This is financial advice, baby.
Number 4 in our Whose Wallet's Getting Fat segment here. James Tate on X. A new watchdog report from Government Accountability Oversight Project alleges that President Donald Trump directed $3 billion in federal funds toward his own properties and political allies. The report claims this was achieved through a series of classified security agreements and no-bid contracts authorized during his final year in office. Investigations suggest that emergency national security designations allowed these properties to receive federal payments at rates significantly higher than the market value. The most substantial allegation involves a $1.2 billion security agreement at Mar-a-Lago. So there you go. Lots of profit happening in the circles. Hey,
it's good to be the king.
Yeah. What else do we got? Okay, I want to touch this one. Well, first off, Bazed, welcome back, man. I don't think you missed a whole lot there. We were just outlining the profit margins of people closest to Trump here.
Yeah, I was listening to the how you don't get in trouble with the inside.
Any other ways you can think of?
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi's, what was her husband, brother, with a meth hammer?
Oh, that would be her husband. Yeah, her husband knew David Papst, the guy that showed up in his underpants with a
allegedly.
Yeah. I mean, he's serving he's serving a sentence for it. So I'm thinking they must have cleared that up somehow. I never saw the final report though.
Just a side note, did you guys see the whoever took over for what's the name of the journalist that exposed everybody on the hidden cameras?
James O'Keefe.
Yeah, James O'Keefe. You see the lady that took over for him and like had the dude in the restaurant. She had on film like exposing the secrets and the plan, saying that we're not going to nuke anybody. And the thing about the Girl Scouts, did you guys see that this week?
No. What did it say?
I mean, it was kind of sold like this guy was giving out state secrets or whatever. But I guess it sounded to me like stuff we've already all talked about. But basically, he was like meeting with this woman in a bar, and he was some guy in charge of, high up in the nukes and in charge of like chemical weapons or whatever. And he said, she asked him, so are we, what about nukes? And he was like, no, we're not going to nuke anybody. We're not going to nuke Iran. There's no plans for nukes or any of that. But they do have, sarin. They have sarin gas and named a couple other ones. And he talked about how one of his like coworkers was exposed to it. And then he went on to talk about how like the nuke plans are in play, like using Girl Scouts. You guys not hear about this? It was like one of the official plans is that like if everything goes to shit and we're in a war, then if a Girl Scout shows up like with a nuclear code on like the back of a cookie box and it matches and it works out, then it's go time, baby, or something like that. Yeah, it was weird. And then he goes on, he's like, he's not wasted or anything. And then he's talking to the undercover journalist or whatever. And then he even corners her like in the hallway and he's like, you're not a spy, are you? Are you a spy? This sounds kind of like, this is like spy stuff. Are you sure you're not a spy?
Ooh, she almost got caught.
Yeah, but I guess, but he did got exposed, but it didn't sound like anything salacious. It just sounded like the normal sort of stuff, kind of reaching. But it was pretty funny about the spy thing and the non-nuke plans for Iran. He was like, no, we're not going to do that. We don't have any plans for that. I don't know what they're doing, but who knows? It's like, oh, damn, we really are in chaos.
Yeah. Fog of information war is very, very thick. That's for sure. Let's see. Ruckus, did we have any other big ones we did not hit? I think I might have hit all my my notes at this point, man.
Two big things that you'll be hearing your friends talking about over the weekend, or you probably heard about over the water cooler at work, or you caught it on the mainstream news, is a semi rehashing, catching up to some old news. But there are things that have officially happened now, but I know we've discussed them. But they did, Todd Blanche did the signing of the reclassification on the federal level of marijuana.
Right.
That is official now. So I think it's just this medical marijuana. It just opens up the research for it. It doesn't make anything legal or anything. They rescheduled it to Schedule 3. Is that correct?
Yeah, so
It's
we're
the schedule
Schedule
now?
3 now, which is good because it never belonged in the same classification as heroin. And yes, it opens up. It's so funny that this happened right after we talked about it on Sunday Wire, just 5 days ago or whatever.
Right.
I couldn't
was
believe
thinking
that.
the same thing.
It's
And
just like-
and we didn't even, when we were talking about that, we didn't realize that it was like just right before 420 too.
Yeah. It did not escape my irony bone that this happened right after April 20th either.
And then
But
the
it does-
psychedelics thing, the Rogan thing.
Well, it opens up a lot of research avenues, which is wonderful. Hopefully, it will bring criminal charges down, but it does not. Don't everybody smoke them if you got them, if it's legal in where you are. But not everybody. Like that we still got 2 states where it's completely illegal, Idaho and I forget the other one. But
Probably Texas, right?
No, we got medical here now or
Oh, that's
something.
right.
I don't know where. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I should say we have.
We got
medical.
gas station drinks here.
We
That's
got,
what
yeah,
we
we got gas station drinks with THCA and much fought over flowers available in random stores across the state. I don't really get it. It's going to take a long time for the dust to settle. But hey, cheers to them.
The angel dust.
The angel dust.
Just sprinkled on that addictive marijuana. All these marijuana addicts running around, just breaking windows in businesses.
They call that
high on tea.
Is that love boat?
Yeah, jazz.
When you're sticking your PCP in your joint, they call that love boat back in the day.
I thought it was called the Big Dipper.
And this one's for Bazed-Lit Analyzer. You might have a career opportunity in the near future if they're listening to the new owner of InfoWars. That happened as of yesterday. So the Onion now owns all the branding and the website and everything associated with InfoWars.
So if I go to Infowars.com right now, am I going to see like the Onion or like?
Who knows what it's still going to say InfoWars. The guy who owns it, who's Tim, his name starts with an H. He's the one half of the Tim and Eric show, the terrible show from back in the day on Adult Swim. Yeah. Okay. So he's the one that owns the Onion or owns InfoWars. They're going to do a show.
Tim Heidecker?
Yeah, that's him. Yep. So so what they're going to do is they want to continue. They don't know what they want to do with it yet, but the guy Tim Heinecker there, he said on camera on a social media post the other day that what he wants to do with it is, who knows, one day we'll just maybe turn it into like a place where people go to listen to music. I mean, they just really want it to like just fail or whatever, but he said that they were going to do the show. So I don't know. It sounds like, at least in the beginning, that they're going to do some sort of parody version. They're going to do an InfoWars show, but it's obviously not going to be Alex or InfoWars. It's going to be these D-bags.
Okay, so I had to look. If you go there right now, it looks like this. They've got like some sort of Alex wannabe here.
Oh,
I guess
wow.
it's
okay, there you go.
So it's like a parody site for now or something, maybe.
Yeah, but Bazed, since you do his voice so well, maybe they might want to contract you out to do some.
They're going to
Alex
kill
Jones
you
parodies.
and your family. And the people who do this, who serve the fallen one, Satan, who's very real, want to break every bone in your body.
The latest news, the hot top headline: Somali pirate caught illegally crossing northern border into U.S. You got to be kidding me.
So what is Alex doing now?
Oh, he's still doing his show and
Alex
everything.
Jones show.
Alex Jones Network. He's got a whole new thing going.
Oh, so he got
he
a new
didn't.
thing.
He didn't miss a beat, pretty much. But
Yeah, what was the point of any of this? Makes no sense, right?
Well, he was also, by the way, I gotta say that he was also, another one went in the jar this week, as they say, because of the big thing with the SPLC.
Yeah,
Is in the indictment, the investigation. people play all over the place playing clips of 10 years ago of Alex saying I'm the expert on the SPLC, saying the exact thing that ended up being like in the indictment, which, you know, I guess everybody in this community knew, but is now a part of the, as they call it, the lamestream media, that they were apparently financing and running various groups.
You know what?
It's crazy.
Yeah, one of my favorite ironies about this one, and for the audio listeners over at Natural News, you can find an article about this all over the place. The SPLC indictment exposes the rot at the core of the activist industrial complex, and goes in, you know, this is coming out, and the DOJ has indicted the SPLC, and you know, when you look at the quote unquote extremist groups that they were funding and then compare that to you know, they're secretly funneled more than $3 million into you know, donor funds, right, into extremist groups like the KKK and neo-Nazis, and there's a whole list of them.
Tell me they were paying David Duke, because I always thought that he was getting paid.
Yeah, I'm
not sure, but one of it says that they paid 17 grand to one of the guys in that Triple K group that you just mentioned. I don't know if it's Duke. And then also, I think Unite the Right rally is mentioned in there as well.
Spencer, what's the guy name?
Richard
Richard
Spencer.
Spencer.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was about to say. When we were covering the Unite the Right rally at the time in real time live, and we saw those Walmart tiki torches and Costco khaki pants come out, we immediately said, this is theater, this is stagecraft. While we were watching it live, we knew what we were seeing. And the most ironic thing about this is, after that, Boiler Room got added to the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center's hate watch list. Okay, so we were added to the hate watch list for simply noticing what was happening, if that means anything to you. And yes, it should be a badge of honor, but they didn't even give me credit for being the host and producer of the show. They gave it to someone else that was there that night. So that sucked. I didn't even get my real badge of honor.
Did they give you any funding, Hesher, too?
No,
like
I didn't
get
no.
KKK?
Quite the opposite, actually. I was going to say the badge of honor would have been nice. Didn't get that. Got on the hate watch list for noticing what they were doing and noticing what other people were doing. And then got demonetized, got deranked, got pulled out of Google ad, all that stuff. All that stuff got taken away. Our web traffic dipped insanely. Same thing was happening to 21st Century Wire and others. Like, we got penalized for noticing what was happening. So yes, the vindication is tasteful. But
is that
like
when they is that when Trump said they said tell him to stand down, and he said stand up and stand by? Or was that in 2020?
It was the very
this is a very fine people hoax.
That's the one.
If you believe the official narrative, this was the event that encouraged Joe Biden to run for president.
Yeah. He actually launched his presidential launch video, brought up Charlottesville in the first like 3 sentences, maybe the first.
You cannot make this stuff up.
No. So, not a good look. And we're going to talk more about that on further episodes, because I'm really going to take a bite out of this crime and share with everybody. So it should be fun. Anything else, Ruckus, we might need to throw out there?
No, that was actually the big story, was the SPLC thing.
Pharaoh, I'm glad you brought the sugar baby in earlier so that we could close with this one, because this is probably the more appropriate.
Can I mention one more thing that happened?
Yeah, go ahead, Bazed.
Yeah, we also had the thing in Virginia with the vote.
Oh yeah,
which
tell everybody what happened.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't take part in this, but they I don't believe in any of this, but people were sending screenshots of the ballot. They had a big vote in Virginia because it has to do with redistricting, or it's a reaction to Trump's redistricting. But anyway, the actual vote was I mean, anyone who read this, what's on the actual ballot, because it was a yes or no vote, would assume that this would be immediately thrown out, or at least to be thrown out eventually by either the Virginia Supreme Court or the Supreme Court. I think it was already halted by the Virginia Circuit Court, but it was a vote on whether if you want to pull it up. I mean, it's like the worst thing I've ever seen. It's about whether you want to increase fairness by stopping redistricting in Virginia based on, it's like a whole paragraph. But anyway, this was Abigail Spanberger, who's the CIA governor of Virginia now, who is also, they passed the gun laws, so all the gun stuff is happening this summer, and everything went like full bore, full hardcore in Virginia. All the stuff's getting passed, and
hold on.
That's it.
Pause there right there on what's the I heard you guys were being forced with a magazine capacity issue and maybe even an assault rifle issue. Like, do you know what specifically you guys have changing?
Yeah, I think specifically there are no more what they've classified as assault rifles. You can't buy one anymore here starting I think it's July 1st. And there's no more, they've limited the magazine capacity. There's like severe restrictions on guns now in Virginia. They went through. So
let me guess. They said if you have older magazines that are quote unquote high capacity, you can keep them, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing about what you already have.
Not yet. It's coming. That's phase 2. In the next phase of the magazine saga, and I can tell you this from experience, that's the first way they get you to accept this unconstitutional legislation is tell you, well, they appease everybody that already has them. Well, you can keep it if you already have it. But if you're like California, if you're like Washington, if you're like Oregon, which seems to be the path these politicians are going in your state, 5 years from now, I would predict they will say you have to go turn them in.
Let me read some of this for you. The exact wording it says, 2026 Virginia gun laws effective July 1st, 2026 include major restrictions, including raising the minimum age to purchase handguns and certain semi-automatic firearms to 21, requiring universal background checks for private sales. Laws ban carrying assault firearms in public areas, mandate secure storage for homes with minors, and prohibit certain firearms. Assault firearm carry ban. The safe storage. There's something
that's exhaustive.
Yeah, high capacity. But there's also a bunch of other stuff that's happened. Like right now they have this curfew in Virginia Beach. And, this woman coming home from her waitress job was smoking a cigarette outside of her condo and got arrested. I don't know what time it was at night, but it's a full on, curfew in Virginia Beach. And they've tried a bunch of other stuff that I actually didn't pass through, which was they were going to get rid of private schools. Not get rid of them, but private schools were going to have to meet all the standards of the public schools in terms of standardized testing, but then
make them pointless, basically.
Yeah, it would make them pointless. I mean, that doesn't even have anything to do with them. They're already way past that, but it would put them under the control of the government in terms of their money. So Virginia should secede again. Well, I think that what will happen sometime in the future is that Virginia will eventually, I guess, split up again. Virginia split from West Virginia split off in the war of northern aggression, we call it here. And then, of course, Northern Virginia with you always hear about Loudoun County and McLean and all this stuff. It's where all of the data centers are. The military industrial complex is there. They have the richest county in the United States. It's horse country. It's all a kind of satellite of DC. They call that the DMV now, or Nova here. I think that will split off into something other than the rest of Virginia, which is I'm in central Virginia, Southwest Virginia, which is still, very southern. But the Virginia, people, it's always been an insult to Virginians for people to say, that Virginia is not southern. That's a thing that we've always taken, that's a sort of slight. But now, I mean, that's true. It's over. It was already over, but now it's totally over. It's completely taken over. There's like no Republican, I think, representation in the House of Delegates. Is completely taken over. So that I guess that's it.
Well, there is another factor here, and that's the sound of the printer at Gun Owners of America and at Firearms Policy Coalition. Their printers are going mad right now. They're putting ink in live printers, suing the pants out of all these unconstitutional pricks. So maybe that will do some good and give you fine Virginians some relief from that kind of unconstitutional tyranny. It's hard though when your political class is all just hemorrhaging blue. So it'll be an uphill battle. But the good thing is that in the last 5 years now, almost, the Supreme Court has been putting out some things that the lawyers of Gun Owners of America and Firearms Policy Coalition can actually use as precedents. So it makes it a lot harder for gun grabbers in blue states to do what they want to do. I do find it disturbing that they hit you guys with so many at once, because that's like all of California's laws basically just dumped on you guys, and it's a shame. It's such a military state, and it's such an important state in the history, and an important state when it comes to battles of aggression and political strife amongst the nations. So it's just sad to see it going that way.
It is. It's my home, of course, the Old Dominion, and the Pentagon is here. Norfolk Naval Base is here. The Langley is here. All those things are
loads
here,
of guns and ammo there.
Quantico. I mean, all that stuff. And it was the capital of the South in the war. We had the majority of the presidents came. The early people came from here. It was a disgrace. All the Charlottesville stuff, all the Seville stuff, because it's always been a point of pride and beauty in Virginia that it was this, it was Mr. Jefferson's home and his university and all this stuff. But then, that all led to 2020 and, everything sort of came down and changed. But this was kind of a long time coming, because the last guy, of course, was Youngkin, who was, you remember Youngkin got in because of the stuff with the school board meetings and the Skittles, all that stuff that was happening, and the kind of backlash. He was CEO of Carlyle Group, and then when he came in, and became governor, it was like there was so much Clinton influence here. There's so much of that was like right on the verge of happening, that when this lady won, which I think she like won pretty soundly. All the votes, all the stuff comes from Northern Virginia and from obviously Richmond, but no one else sort of stands a chance, and it's just it's sort of overwhelming. But I mean, I think a lot of people could see it coming. So,
and this redistricting plays into that, right? It makes it more difficult for people to actually vote in a way that represents the actual, desires for representation in the state.
Yeah, I mean, if you live in like Southwest Virginia, Bristol, Bath County, like anywhere, in Appalachia. So that's what we call it here. In Appalachistan, your whole world is like completely different from someone living in like Fairfax. It's just a completely different world. Because if you live in Fairfax, then you're some drone satellite, going to work in DC every day. That's what everyone there is part of that. And it became full on, liberal, full on left wing, all that stuff. And I don't know really when it happened, but it certainly happened. I mean, Virginia used to be solid. Well, remember when Republicans were blue, and then it switched. So it was a full on, Southern Republican state. I guess when Doug Wilder became governor, he was the first African-American governor in the nation back in the late 80s. Maybe that's when it changed. But anyway, I don't know.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm here. This is my home. I live here, and I'm going to die here. This is where I live. This is where I'm going to make my family. I've always lived here. My family's always been here. My family has been here since the 1600s. We've always been here, and I don't intend on leaving. But it is very sad with all this stuff. So.
Yeah, and there was also a big dramatic murder suicide that happened in your neck of the woods. Real quick, what happened there?
Yeah, that was Justin Fairfax. Strange coincidence of, at the names. He was the former lieutenant governor. He was lieutenant governor under Ralph Northam. Everybody remembers Ralph Northam, Governor Northam. We're going to take the baby, meat. We're going to say. He was that guy who said that on a radio interview about post-birth abortions. Anyway, he was going to be governor because they were sure that Northam was going to resign, but then he was attacked. They found out later through Terry McAuliffe, who wanted the position, who was a Clinton guy, so he didn't get it. And anyway, he was lieutenant governor. And apparently, last week or so, he killed his wife in his home and then went upstairs, as the chief of police said. He fired the shot. He goes upstairs, he kills himself, and he's discovered by his kids, unfortunately. So, in Northern Virginia. And he was, it's interesting because he was one of the leading opponents of Second Amendment freedom. So, sort of meta poetic.
He's not a nuclear physicist working on anti-gravity technology,
right?
Well, maybe that leads
there's a lot of those going missing.
Maybe that leads us to where we actually close, which is with the death of David Wilcock,
which is very suspicious.
Very, very sus. Like, whatever you may think of David Wilcock, set that aside for a minute. The timing and narrative around his alleged suicide is really rubbing people the wrong way. People are not buying it. I am seeing people on the other side of the story talking about, why it might be legitimate. But I just, at this point, it's like, wait a minute, what is going on here? If you don't know, David Wilcock is a conspiracy guy. He's a UFO guy. He's all over the map, quite frankly. And if you've experienced his broadcasts for, any length of time, you'll know that he's the type of person that makes a lot of very profound predictions, many of which, never came to fruition. And but he was entertaining to watch, and he seemed to be, at least in his public presence, someone that at least wanted good things for humanity. I can say that about him. He definitely peddled a couple things my way early on that had me, in a bit of a panic mode, things that didn't turn out to be true. He's actually the first person that made Spore and I tell relatives, hey, you should go stock up on toilet paper. And this was in 2012, like that many years before people actually were wishing they had stocked up on toilet paper. Me. Yeah, man.
This is interesting.
Yeah. It was, okay, I'll tell the story real quick. There in 2012, I think it was 2012, it might have been 2011 actually, 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. There was this character that started doing the rounds on conspiracy show live streams, right? Like, probably it was just at the infancy of even being called a podcast. They were all audio at this point, especially in this realm. None of us could figure cameras out, and then we didn't have all this cool streaming stuff, high bandwidth and all that good stuff. But
Alex Jones was still barely cutting his teeth in this.
Yeah, Alex Jones was like, on the real player embedded into your browser, or like on your cable, like TV, your local cable channel or something. He was a little bit bigger than that by then, but anyways, that's how he started. But anyways, this guy Drake started doing the rounds on all, like, he did Jeff Rance, he did, probably, I'm sure he did Alex Jones. Actually, I bet Alex would probably back me up on this. I think he did even Alex's show. He made so many waves, and what he told everybody was basically this: if my memory holds, that the lights are going to go out and the banks are going to shut down, and it's going to be about 2 weeks. He was basically the first guy that gave us the concept of a great reset, except this one was actually like made to excite and titillate patriots and people that wanted, their tax dollars back. For example, he was like, they're basically, the white hats are going to take over. They're going to shut the power down. It was like an early test experiment for Q, basically. We're going to arrest all the bad guys. We're going to give you back your all your hard-earned money that went to bullshit, and we're going to live a constitutional lifestyle. But the power's going to go out for a couple weeks, and toilets may not flush, you know? And it was like, oh shit. And this guy did a really good job with his story. He did a really good, and he said, you know, this is my code name. I can't give you my real name, blah, blah, blah. So he sold himself as an anonymous whistleblower. And I mean, David Wilcock was probably the guy that had the best interview with him out of everybody. But of course, nothing came of it. That guy crawled back off into the darkness with his fake name, you know. But anyway, like, that's
if I had known this was related to Drake, I wouldn't have said I didn't know this story. I guess I kind of, sort of, semi know this story. I didn't know the connection to David Wilcock. So David Wilcock's interviewed Drake. Well, as you said, the guy was everywhere.
Yeah, he did the rounds.
He might have been hiding under your bed. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were looking for him everywhere. Drake, is that you? So anyway, if anyone hasn't heard,
wow,
David Wilcock, allegedly the story is that there was some sort of call. So police called for a safety check, or someone called for a safety check, and he shot himself.
I got the goods. I got the mainstream story.
Okay, yeah, go for it. How did this unaliving story?
I'm like, do we even know he's even dead? I'm like, all the confirmation on this, it makes zero sense to me. So the official confirmation is only coming from TMZ. TMZ is only citing an alleged report coming from a sheriff's department that is related to the the same block in the same town where this guy lives. All we know is, according to the story, the dispatcher on the 911 received a 911 call from, allegedly, they don't even say, they don't say it was David. They just say that a man living in this neighborhood called 911, and the dispatcher felt that the person on the phone was having a mental health issue and decided to send officers. The officers responded, and they said that they confronted a man outside of his property at this place. Again, they didn't say there was this guy, David Wilcox, or anything. They just say that they confronted him, and in 60 seconds or less, the situation escalated, and that the man... that he died. They don't even say how he died. They didn't say the cops shot him, that he shot himself. It's just like, but from that, we get the news story that you're going to see everywhere is that, oh, David Wilcox killed himself. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So very, very weird stuff. Not enough sufficient reporting for my taste. I don't even know for a fact the guy's even dead.
Yeah, the reporting is not great. And like,
it's hardly there.
I like what Banhammer points out. If you recall, Bill Cooper said some similar things back in the 90s. Bank closures over Thanksgiving, power outages, it's Operation Dark Winter. And, you know, that's the thing about being someone like Bill Cooper or David Wilcock. Like, when you get, you know, you have a good personality, you have a good delivery, and you get these, you know, people that latch onto it, and they realize that you have a big audience. And that's when you start getting the manila envelopes and the, you know, the weird phone calls and the, you know, invites to go to coffee, and you get told unbelievable shit that sounds believable, maybe, you know, and you use it as content. And it's just like, that can snowball out of somebody's control. I would imagine that could snowball out of somebody's control to the point where, you know, you're the guy that's like making a career basically out of being the clearinghouse for everything fucking weird that comes your way, knowing that, you know, eventually, hopefully, knowing that some of it is disinformation that's being fed to you, right? I mean, Bill Cooper talked about that whole process in his that was the entirety of like the Bill Cooper UFO arc. Like, if you look at Bill Cooper early in his career and that kind of stuff, and then read the book and then listen to all of his broadcasts, you can see the change in him. Like, he realized there were mirage men in his life, and you know, then started telling, you know, his experience about that, and that, hey, these people are trying to fake us. They're trying to, you know, they're using people like me to try to lie to you for some reason. You know, if you watch Mirage Men, you might get a window into that. But I mean, after a lifetime of that, a career of that, I could see someone wanting to take them out off the chessboard, you know? And I think that's why no one's buying this bullshit story.
And you know how I always share my version of his famous quote, the thing that I never point out, but I'll point out now, since you brought that up, is when he was saying, recommending to people to read everything, listen to everybody, don't believe anything until you prove it for yourself using your own research. Many times when he said that, he would include the fact don't believe anything from anybody, not even me. And he would emphasize that many, many times. And I think that was probably the bigger point that he was trying to make to people is like, hell, I know that you people trust me and believe me, but even I'm like a human infallible and I make mistakes or I get it wrong. You've got to do you. You got to be, taking care of yourself, and you got to do the research for yourself before you believe something. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. This is a strange realm that,
and definitely don't believe anything I say. 100% guaranteed.
Just throw all that out. We'll just edit all that out afterward. All right, Bazed, any final thoughts before we round this one out?
Yeah, I'm not really. We're winding down here. I'm trying to think of some art that's been good recently. Did you guys see the new you remember MIA? Remember who that is?
Yeah, totally. We love MIA.
Yeah, she's got a new album out, and it's pretty incredible. I mean, years ago she was attacked. Remember on everything like Fox News.
She's super based, dude. She's Spore and I are fans. So we like her. She's suffered a lot from the shitty music industry too. Like her career has been disrupted because she's an honest artist.
Yeah, she's got great music, sort of electro, going way back to the Paper Plane song with Diplo, but she's got this like 5G, now 10G like clothing line out. And anyway, she's got a new album out, and I listened to it this week, and it's a Christian album. I couldn't believe it. Apparently she is fully converted. She's a Christian, and she used a lot of Kanye's Sunday Service Choir. Do you remember he put out the album a few years ago, the Christian album?
Yeah.
And it's got that but it's really good. It's actually a really good album. So I would suggest, if you like that sort of music, if you like electronic music, you could check it out. It's actually edgy. I mean, there's not much edgy material out there now, and that's probably as edgy as you can get for an artist. Other than that, not really much else going on. I did a stream this week with my friend Dr. Luke Johnson. Check out his YouTube. We went over my book Runes, which is still for sale, and some new material that I'm working on. I'm working on a novel. That's about it, you guys. Winding down the year here. The academic year, that is.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for being here with us tonight. Oh, by the way, before you bounce out, we watched a Nick Cage film that we very much enjoyed, a new one to us. It was called Dream Sequence. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen it. What happens?
Oh, you got to check it out, man. So the elevator pitch on the plot is loads of people start dreaming about the character Nick Cage plays, and he's kind of like a loser, and that doesn't really do much, but everybody sees him in their dreams, and he just becomes famous because everybody's dreaming about him.
Yeah, no, I have seen that one. That one is it's not Darren Aronofsky. It's I forget the director. It might be Aronofsky, but yes, that was a pretty good movie. It was inventive. Nick Cage has sort of four corners of film that he's in. He's got good, bad, good, and bad. Mm-hmm. And that's actually what, that's probably in the good category, sort of like Adaptation. If you guys have seen Adaptation, it's a fantastic movie. That's a great Nick Cage movie. Nick Cage, speaking of Nick Cage, he's supposed to be in my friend Toby Harvard's movie, I think, which we'll be filming this summer, stars Eric Andre. And also he's got another movie coming out. This is my buddy. I'm giving him a shout out. He's got another movie coming out with I think it's Robert Pattinson. Anyway, people making big moves. And of course, my final thing is I'm working on my my piece to get published for the Stallone book. So I'll let you know when that comes out. Full publication. So
nice. Very excited about
Thanks,
that,
guys.
man. Everybody follow Bazed-Lit Analyzer on the YouTubes. We'll see you next time, man. There he goes, Bazed-Lit Analyzer. Mystical Pharaoh, are you still with us?
I am just lurking in the background.
All right, you lurker. You got any saved rounds or final thoughts or anything you want to throw out there?
No, I mean, thanks for having me, man. It was fun to hang out, and looking forward for the next one.
Yeah, man. Me too. All right. Well, you have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, man.
All right. There goes Mystical Pharaoh. Oops. I I ejected Ruckus trying to eject Pharaoh. He must have been hovering on the button. All right, Ruckus, your turn.
My turn. Thanks for having me. Yeah, no. So yeah, it was we joke around and say it was an uneventful week, but you know, the geopolitics and war thing grinds on, which we don't necessarily get too deep in the weeds on that here, but lucky for you, if you're into that sort of thing, we definitely get deep into the weeds on that sort of thing on Sunday Wire, don't we, Hesher? So there's a chance that we'll be doing that this weekend over at Sunday Wire with Patrick Henningsen, so make sure to check us out there. I also do quite a bit of that news and kind of thing as well with my buddy Sam Chaney over at Weaponized News. You'll find me there hanging out with him either on Wednesday. Well, it's usually Wednesday. That's my regular slot. But sometimes if I just can't make it on a Wednesday, I'll do it the following day on a Thursday. But yeah, you should definitely follow Sam Chaney. Most folks, after they have and watched his show, said, wow, I like this show. This is good. So check it out. If you're into news, I mean, that's all he does. He just goes through the news, but he's not some jerk and he's not trying to put a spin on it. And he's like one of us. So it's good. And, you know, he's a human being and he gets emotional. Sometimes you've seen him here on Boiler Room. He's a good guy. So check his stuff out. He does like what we do here, but he does it Monday through Friday. So he's doing like 2 to 3 hour live shows. It's a lot of work. So anyways, let's see the big news this week. Of course, it was 420. So happy 420 belated to everybody. Also a happy belated Earth Day to everybody. This is the 2026 updated version of Clown World. Remember the nice, fun-looking Clown World meme? We
now it has mushroom clouds and AI tentacles.
Now it's not so fun, is it? And by the way, in case you didn't realize it or for you forgot, this week did mark 27-year anniversary of the Columbine thing. So just wanted to remind everybody of that. Sad to say, but big events in a lot of our lives, especially if you've been listening to this program for a while, you know what the intersection of the bang bang and all of that has to do with Boiler Room. So yeah, so I was like, wow, that came and went. Nobody really brought it up or talked about it. But 27 years, Hesher, are you feeling old?
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember going out and buying a trench coat after that.
No, stop.
Dang. Yeah, that's been a long time. That does make me feel a little bit old. I'm just kidding, but I do have the trench coat.
Yeah, but also, you know, back then, actually, I remember Earth Day was actually the Earth Day, which is, you know, not long after that. But this year was the 22nd or whatever. Sometimes it was on the same day, right? It was 420 was Earth Day or whatever.
We always celebrated Earth Day on 420 when up in Humboldt, man. I'll tell you that much.
But Earth Day actually meant something back then.
We all were into it back then.
What does it mean now? It doesn't mean anything. Like, did you get an Earth Day present this year? I didn't.
No, it comes and goes. I feel like it was somebody's birthday on that day too. Oh well, never mind.
But anyways, and I already did my Bill Cooper quote. So thanks for having me. Make sure you check me out on Weaponized News and Sunday Wire. I'll catch you guys next time.
All right. Thanks, Ruckus. And that's it for tonight. We covered a lot tonight. I mean, geez, if one thing stands out, it's just how much is happening. And it's hard. It's getting hard to tell like what's actually happening, not because there's no information, but because there's too much of it. It's just layered and filtered, and what's layered, what's filtered, what's generated, what's competing for my attention in real time. And somewhere in all this noise, like something important gets lost. That's at least how I feel. Like, oh God, I gotta sort through all this noise, and what is it that I'm losing here? And it's like, it's not just losing facts, but the ability to trust what you're actually seeing. That bothers me. That's a real shift. Because once the baseline disappears, right, that we talked about in the beginning, once everything becomes equally questionable, then anything can be inserted. And the rate at which information and links and posts are coming our way, man, that's the real shift. just having the ability to trust what you're seeing, because once the baseline's gone, everything becomes negotiable, right? Like it's hard to even get through a conversation about a topic. It's like, oh, whoa, hold up. I mean, you see us, we do it in front of you. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean reality is gone. It just means it's being competed with. And in a world where perception can be manufactured, clarity becomes a skill. Slowing down, questioning what you're seeing, recognizing patterns instead of reacting to every signal. That's where our footing has to be now, because the system might be able to generate noise, but it still depends on your reaction to give it power. So as things get louder and faster and more convincing, the move isn't panic, the move is awareness. So I know it's a big ask, but stay grounded, stay observant, and don't let someone else define reality for you. We'll keep doing it from this side. This is the Boiler Room, signing out. Catch us for Sunday Wire. We'll see you next time.
That's it. Go ahead and run. Run home and cry to mama.